Hello, good evening, welcome back to my channel. Now, the fuel protests in Ireland is still going on, and quite frankly, I'm very happy for the farmers to keep doing it. So keep going, lads, you're doing a great job. Right now, Europe is experiencing a significant escalation in the price of fuel as a result of the ongoing conflict in Iran, prompting notable discontentment and unrest among the population. This sentiment has reached a tipping point in Ireland. It's more than that now, where numerous protests have been taking place for the past few weeks now, close to a month. Farmers and hauliers have been blockading main arteries in big cities and also the only oil refinery in the country, causing severe disruptions and also a shortage of fuel in filling stations. So what? Farmers, keep doing a great job that you're doing. Keep getting your point across regardless. All us Irish stick together, and it's the only way to get them to understand and acknowledge what's going on, regardless of how long it takes. Now, the form of these protests are taking is being met with a mixture of emotions from the general public over the past century. Trade unionism and republicanism have somehow managed to instill into public opinion a certain romanticization of strikes or violent political actions. Some imbued by early 20th century iconography still view these actions as a brave act of defiance of the downtrodden against evil forces of the government Gardaí force. So now, some are just plainly annoyed by the disruption that they are causing to their daily routines, and some others are struggling with the ambivalence of a certain sympathy of those and them that have had a cause of the complete vexation by practical consequences. So in light of that, there's also the figure of the naturally inclined to political action but suspicious of the motivations of this particular ongoing debate, and also of who might be pulling the strings from the shadows. The high degree of organisation exhibited by protesters makes some observers dubious that it is a genuinely grassroots movement. No, it's an ongoing thing. Us Irish, we're very aware of what's going on, and we have for decades. And we know the government are full of shit, and all they do is constantly lie to us and send our money over abroad. All our taxpayers' money is sent to Ukraine and other countries. Even a large shamrock from Michael Harris and Martin given it to Donald Trump and giving him billions of taxpayers' money as a gift. After all, farmers in Europe often fall into a type of political limbo that might challenge traditional perspectives, but they are hard workers, but not proletarians, so they put it. They own extensive amounts of land and normally espouse values of private property rights and traditional social views. It's a fair point. They are also held in an ignominious group of political clientelism, where their trade is severely restricted by endless and pointless regulations, making it difficult at times to maintain a profitable business. I completely understand that with our local farmers. They work a lot harder than anybody that I know, especially people in government, the Gardaí force. Farmers have the toughest job, and receiving thus numerous grants and payoffs from the same institutions that cripple their ability to prosper enough to make people at any point of the political spectrum skeptical. Our farmers work much harder than anybody else. Any business, any small and large establishment in Ireland, farmers work the hardest. Whatever your stance on the matter and whoever is actually behind the protest, one thing is certain: there is nothing remotely laudable about our protesters violating the rights of meaning the public. Protesters are not violating anything. They just want to get their point across, because they're never listened to. The Irish are never listened to, because they have a grievance with the government, and so they should. Keep it up, lads, you're doing a great job. Don't give up. You could accept it from a utilitarian or even Machiavellian perspective, but there is nothing morally justifiable about it. This is true even if their grievance is generally justified, or if ends up benefiting from the action in the long term. Well, regardless of how long these protests go on, they're going to make sure they benefit from it. So after the caveat on the form of the protest, they can now move on to their content. The protesters based their petitions on two essential points of contention, basically to lower taxes and put a cap on fuel price hikes. Unfortunately, these two proposals are seen as naturally concomitant within the context of lowering fuel prices, even though they stem from diametrically opposing moral and political principles. So again, Michael Martin, Harris and Connolly couldn't give a flying fuck, and they don't care regardless. They just turn their head and look the other way and just fund and support other countries and illegal immigrants. And we're more and aware of that and the constant lies that they keep sharing with us. We're not stupid or gullible, and we're not falling for it no more. In so much as taxes are an obligation that the government imposes on us, advocating for their reduction as the protesters do. Basically, it's a laundering backlash. The government are stealing our money, laundering it and giving it to other countries on request, which all citizens would do well to support. That's coming from them. We have to abide and obey. I don't think so. On the other hand, price control is essentially a curtailment of economic agents' freedom to exchange goods at any rate they agree on without coercion. In this case, the protesters are actually requesting the government to further impinge on our rights. Quite paradoxically, they are proposing for the government to release their clutches from some parts of the social and economic life while extending them to other parts. Now, some might see these cautious points philosophically equitable to decisions which in practice would have a positive overall result, but as renowned economists stating that it's immoral is often also ineffective and economically unsound. Prices are an indicator of the scarcity of goods, and their fluctuation give the markets the necessary information to manage those goods. Now, artificial and coercive interference with those indicators lead to isolation of resources and scarcity, as we can see, for instance, in the case of the rent control, although more since filling stations in Ireland operate on very tight profit margins. Most of the profits comes from the associated shops, and their intentions is better focused on the reasons for price escalation, which frequently lie in the actions of the very same government that we naively explore and rely on. Now, fuel in Ireland is subject to a plethora of taxes, including excise duty on MOT, mineral oil tax, VAT, value-added tax, NORA, National Oil Reserve Agency levy, and the infamous carbon tax, which is intended to continue increasing in line with the targets of the Agenda 2030. Now, accounting for more than 50% of its retail price, this means that there is enough leeway for price reduction on the side of taxation without opening the can of worms of price control. So the government put it, to give credit where it's due, the government has agreed to reduce taxes temporarily as an emergency measure rather than giving into the temptation of price capping like other countries. So we can hope that further pressure on the respective will lead them to continue working in that direction and respect the Irish's wishes. Now, we'll see how long that lasts. But if they don't abide by what we want, then the good Irish people of this country, keep doing what you're doing. Carry on with those protests. Until then, thank you very much for watching my content, and see you soon.